Hello and welcome back to another video of mine, and today I'm going to talk about how I create stories for my comics. First thing that I really think about is the ideas. I always have so many different kind of ideas about the stories that I want to make. Am I going to make like a mystery comic? Am I going to make it slice of life? Or is it going to be heartwarming? I've made many different kind of comics to like test out the waters. I have made a slice of life comic, and that one I like to do. That's really fun to draw, but it's not fun to do it consistently. It really feels like a pain, honestly. So that was out. I didn't want to do that again, and I just tested the waters until I found an idea that I really liked. And I usually really stick to the mystery themes. I like those ones a lot. Like my RPG game has mystery, my Lives We Live has mystery too, and then I also think of the ideas that I want the comic to be. Do I want it to be like in a school setting, or do I want it to be like otherworldly? Do I want it to be a fan comic, or do I want it to be of my own characters? And this usually just comes naturally to me for like for my comic The Lives We Live. Each chapter has a different kind of core story, and that usually just comes to me. I don't really like sit down there and just think of it. I usually just like get an idea, I guess an inspiration, just it comes to me. It sounds stupid, I know, but that really is what happens. Or it might be something that I'm interested at the moment, like my Undertale comic that I started and never finished. That wasn't a very good idea because it was really just a fad. And how that idea came to me was because I really liked Undertale at the time. I used to like Undertale back in the day, but then I fell out of the fandom and I didn't really like it anymore. And then I liked it again. I really liked it, and I just wanted more and more. That was the time also that I read a lot of Undertale comics, and I wanted more, so I decided to make my own. I liked the story, it was very interesting. I think it was around the time that Deltarune came out, so that was one of my biggest inspirations for my comic. So I made like 4 pages or 6 pages. I don't really remember, man. It's been a while. I did that, and yeah, I just fell out of the fandom. I didn't really care for Untitled anymore, and I still don't. So it wasn't a very good idea for me to make a comic for a fad, because comics are a long-term thing, and you really also have to think about how long you're gonna make the story, you know, because like it takes a long time to make the comics. And my first chapter of The Lives We Live is 100 pages long, and that took me around a year to finish. So 100 pages for a year. The Undertale comic had like 8 chapters. I don't remember. It was ridiculous. It was also like 300 pages as well. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was long and it was overkill, basically. It mostly followed the events of the first game, so just imagine that. How long that was gonna be. That was ridiculous. Okay, so then I have the idea of what I really want to make. I'm so passionate about it. And then if it's my own comic, like Life or The Lives We Live, I go in and think about the characters. For Life, the character inspirations came from real life, which is my great-grandmother and her sister. So those are the 2 main characters, and so I took inspiration from them. Lives We Live isn't based on a true story like Life, so the characters are fully made up. I try to make like appealing characters that people could relate to, and characters that I could relate to as well. So I took some aspects from myself and from the people around me. I've taken like one thing that someone else has told me, or like one sibling interaction that I've seen, because I'm an only only child. I don't really know how siblings work. So I take that from real life, from my cousins and how they interact. I try to kind of like add that in there, but I don't really know if I succeeded. With my stories, I really take a lot from real life. I've never made like an outlandish story that takes place in a whole new world where I design the whole world. No, I don't really do those kind of things. I think it's a good thing when you have some kind of base to work with. I like that kind of thing, I guess, but it's not a bad thing to make your own world. Like, if you do that, that's awesome. I could never do that. Also, in the character stage, I also think about, oh, what kind of art style am I gonna make it? I don't really do that many like preparations for my comics. I just go head first. So I'm gonna draw out the characters, what they're gonna look like, and I try to make them look simple because like this is a comic and you're gonna be drawing these characters over and over again, so you really should try making the designs simple, because like my characters are pretty simple, but sometimes I really do get frustrated with the fur. Okay, so we have the overall idea, we have the story, we have the genre. What's next? So the next thing I do is I plot out the story, and I use the Pixar plot points, which are once upon a time and every day until one day, and because of that is repeated multiple times, and then until finally and since that day. And I find that's really helpful to have a base to make your plot points, and I've been using that for so many of my stories, and I really recommend using these plot points if you like don't know how to plot out your stories. And how I plot out the stories, like I have already the ideas. This is really a way that I put the ideas on paper and to make sure that I could finish the story, because before, when I was a lot younger, I used to make stories without plot points and just start from start to finish, just make it as I go. That really never worked out for me because I never really knew how to end the story. So I would be like, oh yeah, these ideas, I love these ideas, yes, I'm gonna write that out. Okay, I'm gonna write that in the next chapter. Okay, I'm gonna write that there. But then I'd be stuck because I wouldn't know where to go next, and I just get frustrated and I just stop working on that thing. And I have found that these plot points have really helped me stay on track. So these plot points really make sure that I actually finish something. So yeah, and then I just write the plot points out in more detail. So I take one plot point and then I add more things, so like what happens in the story. And then if I do want to change something later on, I can easily go in and change something if I don't like it. Like for chapter 2, my first plot point is his stepdad getting angry at him being compared to his siblings. So I didn't really like that it started on that. So I took it out and changed it to he is in his room, which is Rico. He's just in his room. So like, I'm not the best writer, so that's just how I plot things out. My plot points are pretty messy, pretty stupid sometimes too, but it works for me. I actually used this first plot point here, that his stepdad like gets angry at him. I used that in chapter 3, and then I just do it until I finish it, and then my story is done. Then it's on to the thumbnailing phase and writing out the dialogue, and that's a whole nother thing. And I might do a video on that, I don't know. Might be the next video, maybe it's gonna be something else. I really do want to try and make more videos about comics because that's what I'm doing right now. I have a weekly comic that I'm definitely falling behind right now. This heat wave has been so annoying. It's something that I'm passionate about, so why wouldn't I make more videos about it? I'm rambling again, as always. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.